So I had somebody comment the other day. God, this thing is getting... Oh, I should just turn the camera around there. But I got 400 grit. Worked my way up, and it is so smooth now. I can't believe it. And I'm getting the guts of it kind of dug out. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. Anyways, I had a guy comment on a video the other day down south. I think he's in California, maybe. I know he's down south, but I think it's California. That the company he works for, he jumped on their loader the other day, and he found a piece of paper where a logging company right here in Springfield had actually owned this loader. So I had messaged him, and we got to chatting back and forth, and in fact he sent me a picture of it, and it turns out that it is a logging company here in Springfield. They're actually closed down now, but and the guy that owned it, his dad owned a very successful logging company back, in the old growth days, and my dad actually worked for this guy's dad for several years. And it's actually where my dad was working when he lost his hand. So I was, Clifford is his name, I was chatting with him, and just brought up some old memories, so I thought, that would make a pretty good video. In fact, one of the guys, it was a emergency medical paper that they keep in like the yard or the shovel, all the crummies. It has the township, the range, cell phone numbers, who's the boss, such and such, road directions, physical directions to get an ambulance there, and like I say, the township and range in case you got to call a helicopter. This thing is so soft, I can't believe it. Anyways, another one of the names on the paper was either the guy's shovel operator, or I want to say he was kind of like his side boss. But the funny part about it is, Tom was the owner's name, and I'm not going to say the other one. I don't know if I can or not. But anyways, me and this other guy that was on the paper, we broke in on the same day for the same company, March 3rd, 1989, for Christian Brothers Logging. And so it just got me thinking, and so I thought I would chat a little bit about the difference in, logging companies now and logging companies then. Nowadays, if a company's got 3 or 4 or 5 sides, they're a pretty good size outfit, really. Real good size outfit. Where, back in the day, and there's always been the Jippo. Always has, always will be, the 1 or 2 side guy, broke down all the time, junk equipment, can't pay his bills. Not like anybody we know. Anyways, but back in the day, in a lot of it, logging started. They were towns, the whole towns was owned by the logging company, and it was normally a mill that owned their own timber that logged their, International Paper, Weyerhaeuser, Willamette Industries, and then as those started going down, but then like Future Logging, when they shut down, they had 19 tower sites, 19. And we're talking 7 to 10 guys per side, 19 sides, tower sides, and they had cat sides and shovel sides, but, and Christian Brothers, they had 16 or 18. Rose had 50 hand cutters and 11 towers, 11 or 12 towers. Surkamp, Rod Surkamp, or Lou Surkamp, he was kind of like this, he'd have 10, 12, 15, 6, 5, 7, 13, Eagle Rock Logging, there was another big one, Kenny Weber, God, Huffman and Wright, Huffman and Wright, they had like 25, 30 tower sites at one time. just ridiculous amounts, and could you imagine, like Future and a lot of those companies, actually the guys that I'm working for now, that's where they came from. They were Woods Boss side rods for Future when they shut down and then went out on their own. Everybody left from the shop in the morning. So they had 19 tower sides leaving from the shop in the morning. So, all these guys drive their own vehicles in and meet a crumb in there and out. I mean, you imagine how busy it was? And you'd stop at 7-Eleven or whichever store, which way 7-Eleven was the one that was going up the Mackenzie. And it was, not uncommon to see 15, 20, 30 crummies. And if you was going the other way, you'd see just as many or whatever. So, and like I say, nowadays there's a lot of 1, 2, 3 side companies. Lots of one side companies. And like I say, if you got 3 to 5 sides, you're a big dog. But, yeah, I mean, there's so much that has changed with it, The size of the timber, now we're tether logging, grapple carriages, hardly ever North Bend anymore because you don't have dog leg units like that because we got intermediate supports and we got drop line carriages so they can pull or modified, and there's roads most everywhere and, just stuff like that. Long span, back in the day, long span, and it wasn't nothing uncommon for a guy to be out 4, 5, 6, 7,000 feet, with 1.25 inch, 2-inch skyline, 6,000 feet of 2-inch skyline, or like a 208 Washington held 5,800 feet of inch haulback. Holy Hannah, what the heck, yeah. And so now if a guy's out 1,500, 2,000 feet, they're taking pictures of it and saying, hey, look at this, we're long span, yard and 1,200 feet, we're big dogs. Shoot, I want to say about 3 years into starting logging, we did a unit with the big tower, the 199, and they were out over 6,000 feet, and we were yarding 3,000 feet of it, front and back. At 15 minutes in between turns. We was getting 4 turns an hour. But that 199, you could put a truckload at a time on it. And when you're out 3,000 feet, you damn well better put a truckload and one on it because, they were pretty fast for their time. But still, when you're skipping out across the landscape 3,000 feet, you maximized your turns and made sure it paid all the way. But, so there's so much that has changed, but there's so much that's still the same, but there is a lot of things about thinning and intermediate supports and stuff like that I think the old boys could have benefited from, having that kind of technology or that kind of mindset back then. Would have helped them out quite a bit. Just as much as there's a lot of old school logging procedures and whatnot that have been lost in the wind and don't get used nowadays because, for, most of these crews have all just younger guys and there's not somebody that like me that's, and I'm not at all. I don't know jack nothing. But, there's a lot that's lost in the translation and I think that's why I enjoy teaching people the most is because I want to bring a little bit of that back and actually speaking to the hook tender the other day we were talking and his name's Timex or his nickname's Timex, which we'll get into that some other day. Like I've said before that if you just work for one company that's all you know is what they do and how they do it and da-da-da-da-da. So by, and being a tramp, in which I have to admit, I'm probably the biggest tramp there is for these days, especially, you get a little bit of everybody's, and you take that and you, a little bit of this, but I didn't like that, so put it all together and because every turn's different, every hookup's different, every road change, although they may be exactly the same, they're all different. So, you get different experiences, I guess is what I'm saying. And so, yeah, I thought that was kind of neat. I thought, well, man, that'd be some, make a pretty good video, to talk about stuff like that, like I say, we'd stop at the store going out of town, and there'd be nothing to be 25, 30 crummies, and it was a different mentality. People looked at us different. They respected us better, more so. It is starting to come back around where the logger is a little more respected again, and stuff like that. But there for a few years, loggers were just scum, really, they're just killing the land and the fish and the trees and and as soon as all the old growth timber stopped and the federal jobs, they just put a stop to it, and then all of a sudden everybody was like, wait a minute, where's our timber tax dollars? We're gonna have to close this school because we're getting $500,000 less in taxes. Then a lot of people was like, ooh, wait a minute, maybe we screwed up. So, and that's kind of with that timber unity thing that here with all those trucks that I videotaped going up there to Portland and Seattle. Back in when the spotted owl and that happened, the loggers, they didn't think it was going to happen. They're like, oh, no way, and it then. So we didn't react as soon as we should have, and didn't do our part soon enough. We tried to after we realized that, hey, this may happen, but it was too late. So, now with our governor trying to pass those, it would have screwed everything up. Those guys, they reacted in a hurry. And they had several rallies that went up there, like I say, in that video I didn't get video of it, which kind of sucked, but there's like 700 trucks went by us, and it was a pretty impressive sight. So I hope you guys like that one. Stay safe. Get logs, friends. Here we go again. I'm taking Willie for his evening walk, but I wanted to say you guys need to check out Daniel Boone's last logger interview video with Ole Beckerbar or something like that. Really, and Boone Daddy, he's so good at interviews. God, he's great. He knows how to lead into the next question and whatnot. But anyways, check it out. It's cool. Let's check out, don't forget about Ben, the dragger pilot, and there's, so many others. Stay safe, friends. Get logs, huh? Okay, man.